Hello and welcome back to the Beat series. My name's Charlie Prince.
And I'm Catarina Balsa.
It's hard to believe we're already on our 4th episode in our music series, LusoLife Beat. On this show, we're spotlighting music from Portuguese-speaking countries that is being created and performed right here in Toronto, Canada.
The music scene here in Canada is so talented. Throughout this competition, we've discovered that the Lusofone scene in particular is full of unique and inspiring artists.
Catarina, for our viewers at home, can you explain exactly what Lusofone means?
Of course I can. A Lusofone is someone who comes from a place where Portuguese is a common language. Muitas pessoas ficam surpreendidas por saberem que lusófonos não são apenas as pessoas de Portugal, são também pessoas de Angola, Brasil, Cabo Verde, Guiné-Bissau, Mozambique, São Tomé, Goa, Índia, todos os locais colonizados por Portugal há mais de 5 séculos.
Our goal here is to find the most talented Lusophone singer-songwriter in Canada who are either new or undiscovered. The winner of this LusoLife Beat competition will score a recording contract with MDC Music plus $5,000 to help the artist further their career.
Depois de uma pesquisa intensiva de talento, finalmente conseguimos reduzir para 13 o número de cantores e compositores. Para votarem, basta ir às nossas plataformas nas redes sociais, da Beat Series no Instagram e no YouTube, e identificar o vosso artista favorito lá nos comentários.
We've been featuring all of them on our series, and today we have 2 more incredible artists who want to show us what they can do, Sophia Dos Santos and Sheldon De Souza. Sophia was born in Portugal and has been singing since she was a child, and Sheldon is a Goan songwriter and a touring drummer.
Vamos fechar o programa com uma atuação muito especial de um dos artistas da MDC Music. Mas primeiro, vamos ouvir alguns dos influencers da música lusófona. Eles partilham a sua experiência como artistas luso no Canadá e como tiveram sucesso no mundo da música, mesmo que noutra língua.
We have people from all corners of the world here, you know. It's so multicultural that should always be seen as a strength, not as something that we shouldn't be embracing.
What we're seeing in Toronto is a more of a unique flavor where there are bands that are getting together and creating not something which is like a melting pot as in the US, where it's not that you're forgetting yourself and you're sort of merging and morphing into different form. It's unique as in you're retaining your identity and your color and your flavor, but you're connecting it to another color and flavor and creating something which is richer in some ways.
Something that I've noticed and started to see more of is people speaking their truth, especially when it comes to a lot of issues, a lot of social political themes that are affecting us all right now.
It's growing so much, and also because there's so many people are coming, there's so many different kinds the influence, right? So that makes so good, right? Because everybody learning from everybody.
So it's just wide open. There's so much stuff, so you know, someone who's into that anything can find someone doing it really well here.
When you see your culture being celebrated in this new country that you're in, you sort of reconnect with it and you find a new pride in your own culture that you thought was uncool always, because it was always ingrained in your head.
People are really understanding, like, we need to get back to that true origin of using art as the loudspeaker and as the means and platform to share messages, especially when we're in need.
If I can give advice to young Luso artists or anyone singing in a different language, I would say just persist, you know. Just be yourself, as I said before. Just work your way up, you know, step by step. Don't be caught up on what people think is the right thing or the wrong thing or the mainstream or not mainstream.
Be open and then find out what you like and follow that and somehow make it your own.
Unfortunately, now we don't have the big labels, you know, the big record labels that they take care of that for the artist. So a musician, like, they have to have that as well. They have to start learning and to understand this whole process behind the scene of being a musician.
You have to do it with such persistence, and you have to almost be stubborn about it, and then do it for long enough that you have no choice eventually to give up.
Connect with artists in your community. Go to spaces where you never know you might meet people. Just connect, and in person too. Really strong. I highly value that.
Be real. Be who you are. because that's how you're gonna be different, right? Because you're just gonna be you, and somebody out there is gonna like what you do. But then if you try to be somebody else, or just to be more approachable, or to sell, or this and that, I don't know. I don't think that's the way to go. My advice is just be real as much as you can be.
On last episode, we featured Daniel Hulk and Ana Laura. Weren't they both amazing?
Foram sim, mas hoje a nossa primeira artista é a Sophia Dos Santos. Nasceu em Portugal e emigrou para o Canadá quando tinha apenas 7 anos. Começou a cantar desde muito cedo e foi até selecionada para atuar com a Shania Twain.
Let's hear more about Sophia with one of our Beat talent scouts, Britt.
I'm a registered nurse by trade, singer by night is what I like to say. I started singing before I started speaking. I would actually sing to my sister in the crib when we were toddlers. In high school, I actually joined my uncle's band. We used to go around and do Portuguese parties and weddings and conferences. No training, I just really loved music, singing specifically. For me, it's a passion of mine. So I sing anything from jazz, bossa nova, to soft rock, pop music, bluesy type music. The ability to express any emotion really, elicit any emotion. You could be feeling sad and you sing an uplifting song and all of a sudden your mood's completely changed. For me as a performer now, it's the ability to connect with people. For me, that's my biggest inspiration, my biggest joy in music is to be able to sing and have somebody come up to me and say, you know, man, I grew up with that song and it brought back so many memories, or someone comes and said, you know, I was having such a bad day and I feel so good now leaving here. So that to me is the biggest compliment in music. I am going a little bit more towards soft rock. I really like Adele as well, and so going forward in my own music career, I would like to kind of go that route and have songs that are pop but soul as well.
Devastou o meu coração, por isso eu rezo esta canção. O sangue e a dor me corta o coração. Num grito bem alto vamos dar as mãos. Estenda a mão ao irmão, entenda, amor é união.
I guess music-wise, I pursued it more in high school. I took choir classes in school and joined my uncle's band, of course. Did that for a year or so. But after high school, you know, we were from a very poor background, and the whole moving from Portugal to come here to give us a better life really inspired me to, you know, want to help my parents and respect their sacrifice. So I actually chose to go to nursing school versus actually pursuing a music career. I was actually applying for Humber College at the same time that I applied to McMaster University for the nursing program, and I decided to do the nursing. Nursing was one of my passions in the sense that I really like touching people, helping people, inspiring people. So I felt that through that career I had a lot of options and that I could do that as well. I feel that through nursing I could have the financial stability to pursue music eventually. I came to be known, I work in the operating room, and I came to be known as a singing nurse because often you'd catch me singing, your patients would find out that I do have a singing background, and they would actually ask me to sing a song as they were going off to sleep, and they were actually very comforted by that.
Reach out, just take my hand now. We can build up what burned down. We can try to start again. Listen to what I'm saying. Some have lost the ones they love, are hurting for a friend. How can we just stand by, only cry, without doing more? We must come together as one.
As you grow up and you grow older, you realize what life's really about. And if you're not pursuing your passion, I feel that you're doing yourself a disservice. Life is such a gift. And to not pursue things that you're passionate about it's not living the best life that you could possibly live. I came here when I was a lot younger, so to write in Portuguese, I sometimes have to use, dictionary to kind of try and find the rhyming words versus English, which is a little bit easier for me because it's the language that I really grew up with, so it's a lot easier to write in English. I think it's important to keep your culture alive as much as you can. It's always kind of nice to be able to speak a different language as well. And there's so much talent in the Portuguese community, it would just be a disservice to not sing in my native language. I'm very eclectic. I really enjoy all types of music. So in future projects, I really hope that I can bring all of the influences that I've had in my singing career into forming an amazing CD that, can kind of inspire people from different walks of life. I feel in today's society, especially with all the social media, there's such a mishmash of information and everybody kind of trying to be unique remains the same, if that makes sense. You have so much pressure to be like somebody else, and so I want to make sure that I remain true to who I am and my roots, and I am Portuguese background, so I do want to include that. I do love my nursing career, however, if music did take off for me, I would go that route. I hope to write CDs. My main thing is to inspire people and touch as many people as I can. So, through an album, hopefully I can tour, and who knows, maybe win a Grammy someday. You never know, right? Good to dream big. But my main thing is just to inspire people.
Now that you know a bit more about Sophia, let's watch her live LusoLife Beat performance at Toronto's Mod Club Theatre.
Não sei dizer para você o quanto eu te quero. Mesmo assim, nem olhas pra mim e sigo suspirando. Amor, eu te quero. Amor, eu te amo. Sigo vivendo assim. Amor, eu te amo. Meu amor é eterno. Olha, amor, pra mim. Sentir o seu beijo, sentir abraço, viver amor sem fim. É tudo que eu quero, meu amor é sincero. Olha, amor, pra mim. Amor, eu te amo. Amor, eu te quero. Sigo vivendo assim. Amor, eu te amo. Meu amor é eterno. Olha, amor, pra mim. Quem me diria que eu dia me apaixonasse assim. Rezo aos céus, peço ao sol e à lua. Olha, amor, pra mim. Amor, eu te amo. Amor, eu te quero. Sigo vivendo Obrigado, thank you.
A Sophia tem uma daquelas vozes que não se esquece. Vamos continuar a ouvi-la agora com a sua segunda atuação da noite, ao vivo no Mod Club.
Swear it was you that I hoped for. It was you. Always you. Always you. Always you. Thank you.
What a voice. What did you think, Charlie?
Sophia is simply amazing. Our next artist is one of the official drummers for the Toronto Raptors, Six Sticks. We'll meet them right after the break.
Applewood Chevrolet Cadillac. Encontre o seu carro de sonho entre a nossa vasta gama de veículos. Estamos à sua espera para o acompanhar na escolha perfeita, com uma equipa de profissionais e técnicos que o ajudarão a sair com o seu automóvel ideal. Contacte Tony Carvalho através do telefone 905-828-2221. Applewood Chevrolet Cadillac. Concessionário GM número 1 em quantidade na área de Toronto por 2 anos seguidos. Previne doenças, faz-nos sentir mais felizes e sabe tão bem. Dolce Chocolate chega a todo o Canadá e América do Norte com a marca da diferença. Qualidade, originalidade e requinte é a fórmula do sucesso. Dolce Chocolate para a sua felicidade e para fazer alguém feliz. Visite a nossa loja no 128 Cartwright Avenue em Toronto ou faça a sua encomenda através do site dolcechocolateco.com. Mais próximo, mais dinâmico, mais atual. millenniumstadium.com. O mesmo de sempre, mas melhor. Mississauga Convention Center. Oferecemos serviços excepcionais para encontros sociais e corporativos. Somos reconhecidos pela nossa tradição de atendimento personalizado e serviço incomparável, com anos de experiência no setor. Se deseja fazer um evento, o Mississauga Convention Center tem várias soluções elegantes e modernas à sua espera. Visite-nos no 75 Derry Road West, Mississauga. Contacte 905-564-1920 ou o website mississaugaconvention.com. Sabia que pode tornar a sua casa de banho num espaço de luxo sem ter de gastar muito? Conheça os designs únicos da Toronto Vanity. Descubra as banheiras, equipamentos e móveis de casa de banho, torneiras e acessórios com designs modernos e elegantes. Pode ver os nossos artigos online em torontovanity.com. Alta qualidade ao melhor preço da América do Norte. Visite-nos no 451 da Alliance Avenue, em Toronto. Toronto Vanity. Luxo acessível para a sua casa de banho.
Nesta era de tanta dúvida, incerteza e muita contra-informação, queremos mantê-lo informado em português. Não perca, de segunda a sexta, às 7 da tarde, O País e o Mundo no Camões TV Notícias.
Sou o Fernando Ferreira da Remax. Se tiver uma casa para comprar, vender ou alugar, tanto no Canadá como em Portugal, contacte-me. Terá um serviço completamente profissional, honesto e um agente a trabalhar para si.
Se pretende comprar, vender ou obter informações sobre qualquer assunto relacionado com o imobiliário, Fernando Ferreira de Remax Ultimate Realty Inc. é a pessoa indicada que deve contactar. Honesto, profissional, dedicado e com vasta experiência no ramo imobiliário. Na compra ou venda da sua casa, apartamento ou propriedade comercial, só há um nome a fixar. Fernando Ferreira da Remax Ultimate Realty Inc. Contacte 416-528-4724. 416-528-4724.
Valorizamos a qualidade do nosso trabalho, prestamos atenção aos requerimentos e necessidades dos nossos clientes, utilizamos só dos melhores materiais, trabalhamos em segurança e temos ajudado a construir a província do Ontário. Piano Roofing, solutions you can trust.
Many flew thousands of miles searching for a new life, a new home, a new job. They dreamed and they made it happen. And our dream is to take all the best we have from our Lusophone world, bringing people closer through culture. That's why, finally, here on Camões TV, you can find shows like Bom Dia Canada, Here's the Thing, Timeline, Nós por cá, Espaço Mongolais, and so much more. Inspire and be inspired. Sharing human stories that matter. And be ahead of the new technologies. Give voice to the lowest speakers and extended vision to those who want to fly. Here on Camões TV, finally, a project from and for the communities, and for all who want to know more and better. Join us on this lifetime learning path.
Welcome back. Our next artist is Sheldon De Souza, also known as Sheldon Universe.
O Sheldon é um escritor-compositor canadiano-goense. A sua música é uma mistura de R&B, soul, música latina e das Caraíbas. Depois de um desgosto amoroso, o Sheldon encontrou a composição e a gravação e tem vindo a produzir a sua música desde então.
Let's join one of our beat scouts, Nathan, as he sits down with Sheldon to talk about his passion for music.
Well, I started off with, just when I was a kid watching Michael Jackson on the screen. But my parents are both musicians. My grandfather is a musician. My uncles, they're also in the music industry as well. So all my life I've been around it, and then I didn't even have a second thought about anything else. Literally, I used to jump on my dad had a drum set. My parents had instruments at home, so I got to play on theirs, and it just became my path. Everything in school to everywhere after that, I just started following music and taking lessons and learning. So.
When was that moment where you started saying, you know what, like, how do I make this something that I can sustain myself with?
I started playing with my parents' band when I was probably about 16. They let me started playing in their bars. Like, they had gigs at bars, so I would play it with them as a drummer. And then I started performing, getting some money from that, and then I started getting calls from other people to play with them. So I started playing drums for other people, and that slowly took me on the road with a couple artists. And then I came back, and then I stopped making a living from music. I'm just kidding. No, I decided to stand as an artist and really take that role on, which I'm finding creative ways to make a living from that.
Carnivals and petting zoos, apple picking, rollerblading just to be with you, and board games, dancing, and cups of tea. Baby, what I'd do for you to be with me. Thinking about the past when I thought it last. My love had come along and it went so fast. Slow tunes, old tunes, they play so nice. Ooh, but they'll never play twice. So can it?
I have a vision of performing large production with like moving stage. Like dancers, lights, pyro, everything, right? I'm gonna do that whether anyone likes it or not. I don't care whether anyone says I can do it or not, I'm gonna do it. I'll find the backer, I'll find the stage, I'll find the venue. The tricky part is getting people to come see my show. So it'll happen. I've put shows together where I said, I'm like, burn the ship. My hat's over the fence. I'm doing it on this date. I'll find the money. I'll find whatever the people to do it, because it doesn't take anything for me to go like this, right? I can play music. I can dance. I can get people around to help. It's just getting the audience. That's the fan base, the people to come out and see the show. If I can get more people that, maybe pair up with a cause, like a fundraiser or something, that I can get people out. But I will do that show. So that's my vision.
Tell me why I'm being punished so much. Tell me, baby, why I'm being punished so much. Please tell me why I'm being punished so much. Tell me why I'm being punished so much.
One of my shows, I had like this I Love Goa shirt. In the middle of my song, I just decided to take off my shirt so I could show that I love Goa, because I knew some of the people in the audience would appreciate that. I think I'm still connecting with all the roots of my culture. I'm learning more and more every day. I try to blend just whatever's hot right now with things that I've grown up with listening. Like, I love salsa, merengue, like bachata, and like samba and a lot of that stuff, music got influenced into stuff I do, but then the R&B and the hip hop and jazz, and I mean, it's everything just all comes together. And then whatever I create is what I create. Stage is definitely my first love. I love stage. I've performed on many stages, so it feels like home. I love the audience. I love being side stage when the audience is cheering and waiting for someone to come on, and then you get on and then you perform like that. That feeling there is the best. That's the part I live for. The studio world is kind of like a new baby for me, because now I see the things I think of. On stage, I'm spontaneous. I'll be, you know, whatever happens, like if there's a mistake or someone yells in the audience, I can just turn that into something, into a show. In the studio, you can pre-think and have it all arranged and planned, and with that opens up doors to do so many creative things. So that's why I love the studio. My parents were always playing music that was current, so whatever's trendy, that's affected my playing and my compositions, my productions. It's all reflective of the time. So
tell me about the trends you see in Toronto music.
I think we have a buzz going on every time. I've been out to LA and I've been to like different places, and I'll say, like, I'm from Toronto, and they're like, what, you're from Toronto? Whoa, do you know Drake? Do you know, like, blah, blah, blah. And like, Toronto's hot, so that's where it's at. Musically, I think we have a lot to offer. We actually have more than that, more music and talent that's not being shared. I think a lot of people are getting exposed. I don't want to say early, but they're getting exposed because of the benefits of technology and internet. But I think there's a lot of hidden talents in our city that are not getting that spotlight because maybe they don't have the resources, or they don't know they don't have the know-how.
O Sheldon tem som inovador. Agora vamos ver a sua atuação ao vivo no palco da série de concertos do The LusoLife Beat.
Pick it up, yeah. Yeah, move your body now. Hey. I was laying in my bed next to her as the sun came up, laying without a worry, oh, life can't go wrong. She made a gentle sound when my feet touched on the ground. She was begging me not to leave, tugging up on my sleeve, come back here. So I came a little closer to make her feel good, waited for her to kiss me, 'cause I knew she would. I'm gonna hold her to this moment, never let it go. Oh, I'ma be with my girl. When the sun comes up, I'ma be with my girl. Even when it rains, I'ma be with my girl. I'ma be with my girl, I'ma be. Ooh. Now my homies are calling me, waiting to party with all them single ladies. There's a couple of hotties and a lot of nice bodies, most of them waiting to let loose. The drinks are all paid for, the snacks on the table. Does anyone see what's wrong? I got dessert on a platter, but it's always a disaster. Got a girl waiting for me back home, 'cause I made a little gesture to make her feel good. Waited for her to kiss me, 'cause I knew she would. Gonna hold her to this moment and never let it go. Never let it go. Never let it go. Never let it go.
I was feeling that track. Here's another one from Sheldon's live performance in downtown Toronto.
You said you wanted some, so I wrote a song for you. I hope it turns out the way I think you want it to. And if it doesn't work out, I don't know what to do. Cause I think the rhythm is gonna help us make it through. When you see everybody dancing and move their feet, even the most uncoordinated will feel the beat. This type of music was made for people like me and you. This type of music was made to make you feel good. You will know the groove. I wanna see you move. Ooh, you can't hide the truth. You're mine, I'm yours. Let me make some music with. And yes, I will be with you. And yes, you will be with me. And yes, we will be up until we make three. And yes, I will be with you. And yes, you will be with me. And yes, I booked the honeymoon. When you see everybody dancing and move their feet, even the most uncoordinated will feel the beat. This type of music was made for people like me and you. This type of music was made to make you feel mine. You're mine. Mine. You're mine. You're mine. You're mine. You're mine. You're mine. You're mine. You will know the groove. I wanna see you move. You can't hide the truth. You're mine, I'm yours. Let's break it down, boys. There will be lots of loving. I know you like to play this song for you and me, girl. We gon' play it night and day. You know I'm yours if you are mine. You know I'm yours till the end of time. You said you want a song, so I wrote a song for you, girl. I hope it turns out the way you want it to, yeah. And if it doesn't work out, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I guess this rhythm's gonna help us make it through. You're mine. You're mine. You're mine. You're mine. You're mine. You're mine. You're You're mine, I'm yours. Let me make some music with you.
A sua música é tão divertida e tem um toque tão único e pessoal. Depois do intervalo temos uma convidada especial no nosso programa. Não vai querer perder.
Applewood Chevrolet Cadillac. Encontre o seu carro de sonho entre a nossa vasta gama de veículos. Estamos à sua espera para o acompanhar na escolha perfeita, com uma equipa de profissionais e técnicos que o ajudarão a sair com o seu automóvel ideal. Contacte Tony Carvalho através do telefone 905-828-2221. Applewood Chevrolet Cadillac, concessionário GM número 1 em quantidade na área de Toronto por 2 anos seguidos. Previne doenças, faz-nos sentir mais felizes e sabe tão bem. Dolce Chocolate chega a todo o Canadá e América do Norte com a marca da diferença. Qualidade, originalidade e requinte é a fórmula do sucesso. Dolce Chocolate para a sua felicidade e para fazer alguém feliz. Visite a nossa loja no 128 Cartwright Avenue, em Toronto, ou faça a sua encomenda através do site dolcechocolateco.com. Mais próximo, mais dinâmico, mais atual. MillenniumStadium.com. O mesmo de sempre, mas melhor. Mississauga Convention Center. Oferecemos serviços excepcionais para encontros sociais e corporativos. Somos reconhecidos pela nossa tradição de atendimento personalizado e serviço incomparável, com anos de experiência no setor. Se deseja fazer um evento, o Mississauga Convention Center tem várias soluções elegantes e modernas à sua espera. Visite-nos no 75 Derry Road West, Mississauga. Contacte 905-564-1920 ou website mississaugaconvention.com. Sabia que pode tornar a sua casa de banho num espaço de luxo sem ter de gastar muito? Conheça os designs únicos da Toronto Vanity. Descubra as banheiras, equipamentos e móveis de casa de banho, torneiras e acessórios com designs modernos e elegantes. Pode ver os nossos artigos online em torontovanity.com. Alta qualidade ao melhor preço da América do Norte. Visite-nos no 451 da Alliance Avenue, em Toronto. Toronto Vanity. Luxo acessível para a sua casa de banho.
Nesta era de tanta dúvida, incerteza e muita contra-informação, queremos mantê-lo informado em português. Não perca, de segunda a sexta, às 7 da tarde, o país e o mundo no Camões TV Notícias.
Sou Fernando Ferreira da Remax. Se tiver uma casa para comprar, vender ou alugar, tanto no Canadá como em Portugal, contacte-me. Terá um serviço completamente profissional, honesto e um agente a trabalhar para si.
Se pretende comprar, vender ou obter informações sobre qualquer assunto relacionado com o imobiliário, Fernando Ferreira de Remax Ultimate Realty Inc. é a pessoa indicada que deve contactar. Honesto, profissional, dedicado e com vasta experiência no ramo imobiliário. Na compra ou venda da sua casa, apartamento ou propriedade comercial, só há um nome a fixar. Fernando Ferreira, da Remax Ultimate Realty Inc. Contacte 416-528-4724. 416-528-4724.
Valorizamos a qualidade do nosso trabalho, prestamos atenção aos requerimentos e necessidades dos nossos clientes, utilizamos só dos melhores materiais, trabalhamos em segurança e temos ajudado a construir a província do Ontário. Piano Roofing, solutions you can trust.
Many flew thousands of miles searching for a new life, a new home, a new job. They dreamed and they made it happen. And our dream is to take all the best we have from our Lusophone world, bringing people closer through culture. That's why, finally, here on Camões TV, you can find shows like Bom Dia Canada, Here's the Thing, Timeline, Nós por cá, Espaço Mongolais, and so much more. Inspire and be inspired. Sharing human stories that matter. And be ahead of the new technologies. Give voice to the lowest speakers and extended vision to those who want to fly. Here on Camões TV, finally, a project from and for the communities, and for all who want to know more and better. Join us on this lifetime learning path.
Before the break, we mentioned that we might have a surprise performance for you. Charlie, tell them who it is.
It's a special guest, an MDC music recording artist, Ruby Anderson.
My family is more like designated in the Azores Islands, mainly Fiel. My grandfather was one of the founders of the Portuguese club in Cambridge. He was also one of he's like the first generation pioneers that came here in like the 1950s. So what kind of got me into music, I'd say, is from road trips with my parents. And we'd travel across America and they'd lay playlist on top of playlist of old country. The legends such as Johnny Cash and Chris Christopherson, Loretta Lynn and Dolly Parton. My mom kind of pushed me a little bit. I mean, she kind of brought in the idea of me playing an instrument and eventually developing, like understanding how to sing and play on the guitar. I'd like to think of my music as almost a love letter to my idols. I take a lot of my inspiration from their music, so I just want it to be an homage to old country and the blues, but also rock and classic rock, and even Elvis. You know, I like to have that entertainer aspect to it. That's more performance-based, but I'd like my music to kind of bring a new meaning to an older generation of music and bring new appreciation for it. I'd say I've connected with a lot of older generations. I don't know, grandparents' age, like people are in their 80s and their 70s, and I connect with them a lot because I am fascinated by music from the 60s and all this music that they've grown up on. And I find that I've kind of found myself landed in that community, which is a bit strange because I am 16. You know, you're chatting with like 75-year-olds and 80-year-olds about old music, but it's nice. You know, it's really nice having those conversations and passing wisdoms from so many generations. Younger generations should take time to admire and appreciate older generations. Just, you know, they have really great stories to tell, and if you just gave them your time and your patience, you'd learn a thing or two. Where would we be without this old music? You know, some of these rock pioneers, without them, what would music today sound like? What would it be? It wouldn't be anything. It's as simple as that. Inspirational in my life, you know, just write about experiences, whether if it's good or bad, it's still an experience worth mentioning. So I'll just write a poem about that, and eventually those poems will turn into songs. Just any experience in my life I'd like to write about, because, you know, anyone could relate to that. We're all human, and to be human is to feel. And songs, you know, writing songs and just singing, it's a method of expressing your thoughts and feelings. You know, music can convey emotions on such a level where language couldn't justify to describe. My stroke of genius does not come at the most opportune moments. It'll be like 3 a.m. on a school night, and I'll just wake up and dart out of bed and start writing.
Once again, I know that even though I try to stay, I should always think that what I wouldn't dare to say. How was I to know that I couldn't stay away? On the phone to hear that something wasn't right today. But you are inside your mind and never really cared to wonder why it was me you left behind for someone that I should have realized. Now we're broken. Now we're broken. I pretended I could, wasn't I supposed to know? But you decided you should be the one to let it go. I suppose that you would never even come to show. Knowing now it's no good turning on the radio. But you are inside your mind and never really cared to wonder why it was me you left behind for someone that I should have realized. Now we're broken. Now we're broken. Was it right for me? Was it right for you? Did we fight for us? But you hide inside your mind. You never really cared to wonder why it was me you left behind for someone that I should have realized. But you are inside your mind. You never really cared to wonder why it was me you left behind for someone that I should have realized. Now we're broken.
I just like entertaining people, making people think or just taking them out of, any troubles that life could bring. Just help them forget about life, I guess. I like to do that, and I like to share my message and just what I see in the world around me, and music really helps me with that. I faced a lot of rejection and a lot of criticism, which is still good though. Criticism, it's always constructive criticism, and that's good. But, sometimes it could be a bit disheartening, but, all you have to do is just keep trying. If you're truly passionate about it and you're in it for the right reasons, it won't matter to you, because what matters to you is the music that you're making, not so much what others should think of you. What drives me to make music is kind of what drives a person to be human, to feel, and I just feel like the music could be really therapeutic. It's really a great way to express your thoughts and feelings. Really, I find any experience is worth writing about, whether if it's just a homeless man on the street, you want to write about his story, his life, or just corruption in our society, or just even about your own thoughts and feelings, like just experiences that you've went through, breakups, or teen romance or something, just anything, times of sadness. So what's next for me, I'd say I'm releasing my my first music video. I'll be singing Mad World. I mean, considering where the world has been for a while, with the pandemic and all that, it's been a mad world, so I might as well sing about it.
It must have been so inspiring for our LusoLife Beat contestants to see Ruby performing on the same stage as them.
Voltamos já a seguir ao intervalo.
Applewood Chevrolet Cadillac. Encontre o seu carro de sonho entre a nossa vasta gama de veículos. Estamos à sua espera para o acompanhar na escolha perfeita, com uma equipa de profissionais e técnicos que o ajudarão a sair com o seu automóvel ideal. Contacte Tony Carvalho através do telefone 905-828-2221. Applewood Chevrolet Cadillac, concessionário GM número 1 em quantidade na área de Toronto por 2 anos seguidos. Previne doenças, faz-nos sentir mais felizes e sabe tão bem. Dolce Chocolate chega a todo o Canadá e América do Norte com a marca da diferença. Qualidade, originalidade e requinte é a fórmula do sucesso. Dolce Chocolate para a sua felicidade e para fazer alguém feliz. Visite a nossa loja no 128 Cartwright Avenue, em Toronto, ou faça a sua encomenda através do site dolcechocolateco.com. Mais próximo, mais dinâmico, mais atual. MillenniumStadium.com. O mesmo de sempre, mas melhor. Mississauga Convention Center. Oferecemos serviços excepcionais para encontros sociais e corporativos. Somos reconhecidos pela nossa tradição de atendimento personalizado e serviço incomparável, com anos de experiência no setor. Se deseja fazer um evento, o Mississauga Convention Center tem várias soluções elegantes e modernas à sua espera. Visite-nos no 75 Derry Road West, Mississauga. Contacte 905-564-1920 ou o website mississaugaconvention.com. Sabia que pode tornar a sua casa de banho num espaço de luxo sem ter de gastar muito? Conheça os designs únicos da Toronto Vanity. Descubra as banheiras, equipamentos e móveis de casa de banho, torneiras e acessórios com designs modernos e elegantes. Pode ver os nossos artigos online em torontovanity.com. Alta qualidade ao melhor preço da América do Norte. Visite-nos no 451 da Alliance Avenue, em Toronto. Toronto Vanity. Luxo acessível para a sua casa de banho.
Nesta era de tanta dúvida, incerteza e muita contra-informação, queremos mantê-lo informado em português. Não perca, de segunda a sexta, às 7 da tarde, o país e o mundo no Camões TV Notícias.
Sou o Fernando Ferreira da Remax. Se tiver uma casa para comprar, vender ou alugar, tanto no Canadá como em Portugal, contacte-me. Terá um serviço completamente profissional, honesto e um agente a trabalhar para si.
Se pretende comprar, vender ou obter informações sobre qualquer assunto relacionado com o imobiliário, Fernando Ferreira de Remax Ultimate Realty Inc. é a pessoa indicada que deve contactar. Honesto, profissional, dedicado e com vasta experiência no ramo imobiliário. Na compra ou venda da sua casa, apartamento ou propriedade comercial, só há um nome a fixar. Fernando Ferreira da Remax Ultimate Realty Inc. Contacte 416-528-4724. 416-528-4724.
Valorizamos a qualidade do nosso trabalho, prestamos atenção aos requerimentos e necessidades dos nossos clientes, utilizamos só dos melhores materiais, trabalhamos em segurança e temos ajudado a construir a província do Ontário. Vienna Roofing, solutions you can trust.
Many flew thousands of miles searching for a new life, a new home, a new job. They dreamed and they made it happen. And our dream is to take all the best we have from our Lusophone world, bringing people closer through culture. That's why, finally, here on Camões TV, you can find shows like Bom Dia Canada, Here's the Thing, Timeline, Nós por cá, Espaço Mongolais, and so much more. Inspire and be inspired. Sharing human stories that matter. And be ahead of the new technologies. Give voice to the lowest speakers and extended vision to those who want to fly. Here on Camões TV, finally, a project from and for the communities, and for all who want to know more and better. Join us on this lifetime learning path.
Bem-vindos de volta ao LusoLife Beat Series. Hoje conhecemos Sophia Dos Santos e Sheldon De Souza, dois artistas que já levantam ondas no cenário da música local canadiana.
You can help these awesome Luso artists win $5,000 and a recording contract from MDC Music by heading to our social media at The Beat Series on Instagram and YouTube. Tag your favorite artists in the comments to vote.
E não percam o nosso próximo episódio com 3 novos artistas que esperam também gravar eles um álbum nos estúdios da MDC Music aqui em Toronto.
See you next time.